Have you ever felt the ground tremble without knowing why? Imagine a moment when the wind stands still, the birds fall silent, and the world seems to hold its breath before a great roar. It is on that threshold of absolute silence that ancient voices begin to whisper their warnings. On this channel, we explore ancestral narratives and prophetic revelations, from a blind Bulgarian seer to forgotten volcanic chambers, to decode the signals the Earth sends. When the contours of routine vanish and the planet quakes, we are invited to awaken to a larger reality. It's not just tectonic plates shifting, but a profound dialogue between our spirit and the beating heart of the world. On the 30th of July 2025, a deep tremor shook the far eastern reaches of Russia, near the icy waters of the Kamchatka Peninsula. With a magnitude of 8.8, the plates ground together in a muted roar, yet the world barely noticed. No city collapsed, no mass tragedy, only a shudder across lands of ice and steam. What if that was not an end, but the harbinger of something far greater? Baba Vanga, the Bulgarian seer who lost her sight at 12 years old, lived in rural silence, yet her visions resonated far beyond her village's walls. In her prophecies, the very earth would roar like a wounded beast. The poles would shift, volcanoes would awaken in places dormant for millennia, and quakes would erupt where none were expected, across the planet's glaciers and white deserts. When the coldest regions tremble, she warned, the harmest hearts must either awaken or fall. The press scarcely blinked at the Kamchatka quake. No sensational headlines, no TV crews on the scene. That tremor opened an invisible wound in the planet's crust, but the Earth did not forget. Kamchatka, a frozen, sparsely inhabited frontier, lies on the Pacific's Ring of Fire, a geological belt of fury stretching from Russia through Japan, the Philippines, Indonesia, New Zealand, South America, and up to California. When one point on that ring slips, the entire belt feels the strain. If Russia stirs, America should listen, for pressure does not vanish, it merely shifts. Today, we already hear echoes of that tension. Light tremors in Alaska, sudden jolts along Japan's coast, and strange vibrations beside California's sleeping faults. Still no casualties, but clear messages. The Earth is trying to speak to us. The question is, will we heed its call? Baba Vanga described this moment as a beginning disguised as nothing, an imperceptible shiver in the cold that would ignite the fire in the warmth. She spoke in poetic symbols. When the bear trembles, the eagle will quake, and the ground beneath both will flow like water. The bear represents Russia, the eagle represents America, and water always seeps through the weakest cracks. So we must ask ourselves, was the Kamchatka tremor a one-off jolt, or the first domino in a sequence capable of shaking our world both geologically and spiritually? If these reflections stir something within you, give us a like to support the channel and subscribe so you won't miss our next videos. And if you feel the connection, type 444 in the comments. Let us know who is awakening with us. Returning to the theme, many prophets spoke in riddles, but Baba Vanga expressed herself through nature's phenomena. She read the sky like a book, sensed secrets in the snow, and heard the silences between the thunderclaps. In those silences, she saw what most ignore, tremors emerging in the planet's frozen fringes. Glaciers, permafrost, white deserts where nothing should move. Yet they do. Where the ice cracks with a thunderous sound, she said, the human soul is tested. In 2020, Greenland, one of the planet's most stable places, recorded deep, inexplicable tremors. No major fault lines, no clear human cause. The crust simply shifted beneath the ice. In Alaska, the quake pattern changed, coming in clusters without warning. In Antarctica, sensors detected vibrations from within the crust, not just from surface ice movement. Alone, these events might seem random. Together, They form a pattern, a row of tension dominoes stretching from pole to pole, waiting for the last to fall in the west. That final domino, our seer cautioned, will lie under the eagle's shadow, America, but not merely as geography, rather as moral judgment. To her, cold region quakes signified spiritual pressure amassed by human greed, hatred, and arrogance. In striving to dominate nature and betray our values, we corrupt the soil beneath our feet. America, once hailed as a beacon of faith and freedom, now faces tremors not only in its crust, but in its soul. Divisions, normalized violence, and a turning away from God. We swapped reverence for relevance, the sacred for comfort. Tectonic faults still guard their secrets. The spiritual fault line widens, as if the nation's soul is already quaking. Baba Vanga delivered one of her most chilling warnings. Before the ground splits open, the heart must break. That which is not humbled in spirit will be humbled in stone. Is the earth hooping a warning before its collapse? Will we break in spirit, or will the quake break us? Among her most enigmatic prophecies was a polar shift, not merely magnetic but moral. The cold will become hot, the hot will become cold. Birds will fly out of season, and rivers will abandon their beds. Dismissed by many as madness, today science confirms the North Pole is racing toward Russia. Should that movement accelerate, we may witness a full pole reversal within our lifetime, bringing magnetic upheavals, radiation surges, climatic chaos, and yes, spikes in seismic and volcanic activity. Vanga perceived more than geophysics. She saw an invitation to confront our own disorder, as if the Earth sought to rebalance what humanity had thrown off kilter. We rejected nature, and it reorganizes. We fractured truth, and the axis tilts. We crowned ourselves gods, and the crust groans under our arrogance. Again, she spoke to the eagle. America, symbol of power, will feel the greatest fall unless it bows, not to punish, but to purify, a summons to humility. For the earth waits patiently, but not forever. And her final admonition, look to the sky when it falls silent. Then the earth will speak. Many interpret this as the quiet of birds before a quake. But what if it also means the silence of humanity? When satellites go dark, planes stay grounded, and lights flicker out, the world will enter a hush capable of amplifying the planet's primal roar. That day is already dawning. Blackouts, grid failures, solar storms rattling the magnetic field. It's as if Vanga foresaw a time when our technology would fall silent, just before the crust emits a roar no human can drown out. Will that cry awaken the human soul, or bury it? She taught that every nation receives signs before judgment. The eagle soars high, but the storm flies higher. And the test will not be of war or economy, but of humility, beginning with Yellowstone quakes, California faults, even the forgotten New Madrid zone, and culminating in an inner tremor of conscience. Prophecies may frighten, but Baba Vanga was no herald of doom. She was a mirror to our condition. Her visions were invitations to change, not immutable verdicts. She believed repentance, prayer, and humility could rewrite fate. Should America, or any nation, return to love, truth, and the Creator, the earth may yet find calm. For the soul trembles first, and a healed soul steadies the soil beneath it. The ground may still roar, the sky may still fall silent, and the sea may still rise in fury. But remember, no quake is stronger than a heart anchored in faith. No pole reversal is deeper than a life rooted in truth. And no roar of the earth can overpower a whisper of repentance. Baba Vanga foresaw fire, ice, silence, and storms, but also hope. When all things shake, those who kneel shall stand. America, the earth stirs beneath your foundations. The question is not if the great quake will come, but whether your spirit will be ready before the cry. Let us heed the silence and return to the one who steadies all things. Thank you for being here. If these words have stirred your soul, please give a like, share, subscribe, and leave 444 in the comments to show we are awakening together. Until next time, The earth speaks. Are we ready to listen?